All right, folks, buckle up, because today we are diving deep into the Tesla Model Y Juniper.
The Juniper. Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. Electric cars are having a real moment right now, but this one has got everyone talking.
Yeah, and for good reason, right? I mean, did you see that article calling it a vehicle that thinks?
I did, and that's what we're diving into today, folks. What makes this thing so special that it's being called a vehicle that thinks?
Well, let's unpack that, shall we?
Let's do it.
What I find fascinating about this whole thing is how Tesla's not just upgrading a car, This isn't just some incremental improvement.
Right.
They're trying to completely change what we should expect from electric vehicles. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, like remember when the Model Y first came out, it was a big deal because it had that impressive range, especially compared to like those first EVs. You could actually think about taking road trips without freaking out about finding a charger every 5 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. And the really smart thing Tesla did was they realized early on that to make EVs actually work, they needed more than just a cool car, right? They needed the whole infrastructure to support it. That's where the supercharger network comes in. You've got charging stations strategically placed all over the globe. That was huge for getting people to actually consider EVs.
Totally. It's like they were saying, hey, going electric doesn't have to mean you're stuck in the city. And now with the Juniper, they're taking it even further. 600 kilometers on a single charge.
Can you even imagine? That's incredible. Think about those early EVs struggling to get to, 150 kilometers?
I know, right? That's like 4, maybe even 5 times the range.
Exactly. It's a game changer.
So how'd they pull it off? What's the secret sauce? New battery tech.
You got it. It's all about the battery. They've completely overhauled the battery technology, and they are using these new 4680 battery cells.
Okay, so more power, smaller package, got it. That's the higher energy density everyone's talking about. But it's not just about cramming more juice in there, right?
No, you're right. It's also about how efficiently that energy is being used. Think of it like squeezing more miles out of every drop of fuel. These new cells are designed to deliver that energy more efficiently, which directly translates to that impressive range they're advertising.
Right. But okay, the article, it kept mentioning the Juniper's intelligence, and I'm not sure what that means exactly. Is this thing gonna parallel park itself while I'm getting a coffee? What are we talking about here?
It's not quite there yet, but it does have this very impressive energy management system. It's intelligent. So picture this. You're cruising down the highway, nice and flat, and then boom, you hit a steep hill. The Juniper can automatically adjust how it's delivering power to make sure you maintain your speed and don't waste any energy, all without you even noticing.
So it's like having a co-pilot who's obsessed with saving battery.
Exactly. And for you, it just means a smoother, more efficient ride.
Which, I mean, that's what we all want at the end of the day, right? But let's be real for a second. The elephant in the room with EVs has always been charging time. You can fill up a gas tank in, 5 minutes? Charging, not so much. Did Tesla solve this problem with the Juniper?
They might have just done that with the new V4 superchargers.
Okay, all right, hit me with it. How fast are we talking?
We are talking 10% to 80% in just 15 minutes.
Wait, 15 minutes, that's it?
That's it.
That's less time than it takes to grab a burger.
I know. It's pretty remarkable. And it's not just about convenience, although that is a huge part of it. This is about making electric cars a realistic option for more people. That's a big deal.
Okay, Tesla's upping their game, we see that. But what does this mean for everyone else? Can the other big players like Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, can they keep up?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The Juniper puts a lot of pressure on these traditional automakers to innovate, and fast.
Yeah.
The game has changed.
Especially with how the world's changing. Cities are pushing for cleaner air, and you've got entire countries talking about phasing out gas-powered cars completely.
Absolutely.
This feels different, like a real turning point.
It could be. The question is, will people actually make the switch?
Yes.
Is the Juniper going to be the car that finally convinces people to go electric?
Right, because it's not just about the technology anymore. It's about changing habits, overcoming those doubts that people have about range and charging and all of that.
And it's about access. Tesla's built an impressive charging network, but it needs to be accessible to everyone, everywhere. That's a challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity.
It is. It's an opportunity for everyone to work together. Governments, automakers. We could build a future where electric cars are the norm. We're talking about a cleaner, quieter, maybe even more exciting future on the road.
And it's not even just about the cars, right? It's about a shift in thinking, a commitment to sustainability that has to happen on a global scale. Tesla's doing their part, leading the charge, but it's going to take all of us to really make this vision a reality.
Absolutely. It's about challenging how things have always been done and imagining what's possible. Who knows, maybe the Juniper is the thing that finally gets us moving in the right direction.
It could be. But even if it's not the be-all, end-all solution, it's a major step forward. And sometimes that's all it takes to make real change happen. Makes you think, what does all this mean for the future of driving? Like, we always think about what car we want, make and model, all that. But with this Juniper and what it can do, it makes you think about the impact it could have on the environment. It's bigger than just us.
It really is. In fact, the article we're looking at today, it actually called Tesla a leader when it comes to pushing for a more sustainable future. And it made me wonder, is it on companies to lead the way? Or is it up to us, the consumers, to demand change?
I think it's a bit of both, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, companies, they've got the engineers, the resources, they can build this amazing tech, but they're also businesses, right? So if people aren't buying electric cars, it doesn't really matter how innovative they are.
Right. It's like we're voting with our wallets. If we want to see a greener future, we've got to support the companies that are actually trying to make it happen.
Exactly. And that support can look like a lot of different things, It's about being informed, understanding the tech, asking the right questions. And don't forget about pushing for policies that support clean energy and sustainable transportation. That stuff matters.
It does. Okay, so big picture thinking, putting our money where our mouth is. What else? Oh, the article mentioned all this data the Juniper collects. It's like, this car is a rolling computer, keeping track of how we drive, where we go.
It's true. And all that data, it's incredibly valuable. We can learn so much about driving behaviors, how traffic flows, even the condition of the roads. It could revolutionize things.
I get that, but it's also kind of creepy, right? Like, who has access to all that data and what are they doing with it? That's a little Big Brother-ish, isn't it?
It's a valid concern, no doubt. It's a question of finding the right balance, between innovating and making sure people's privacy is protected. Companies need to be upfront about what they're collecting, how they're using it, and who gets to see it.
Transparency is key. But we as consumers, we've got to be in the know too, right? Got to understand what we're signing up for when we get behind the wheel of a car like this.
Absolutely. Informed choices. That's what it's all about. And that means having a say in how our information is used. People should be able to decide what data they share, just like we can with our phones and computers.
For sure. And this isn't just about one car or one company. It's about setting the standard for what's acceptable for the future of driving. Cars are becoming more connected, more reliant on data, which means privacy and security are only going to get more complicated.
You're preaching to the choir. And, it's not just a tech issue, it's a societal one too. We got to have these conversations, figure out where the line is between convenience and privacy in a world where our cars are constantly collecting data.
Okay, so we've got mind-blowing range, super fast charging, a car that might be smarter than I am, and now this whole data privacy thing. That's the plot twist I wasn't expecting.
The law of unintended consequences, right? It's always the things you don't see coming that really make you think. It forces us to confront these big questions. Ethics, responsibility, the kind of future we're creating. It's a lot.
Right. It's like we're not just passengers anymore. We're active participants in shaping how this technology evolves.
Exactly. And that's a powerful realization to have because the decisions we're making today, they have a ripple effect. What we do now will impact the future.
No pressure, right? But seriously, this is giving me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come back to the Juniper for a sec. This car is packed with tech, sure, but what's it actually like to drive?
Well, from what I've read, the Juniper is a dream to drive. Great performance, handles beautifully. They haven't just made an electric car, they've made a fantastic car that happens to be electric.
Because nobody wants to drive a car that feels like a science experiment, right?
Exactly. And that's where Tesla's always excelled. A car should be more than just a way to get around. It should be fun, an extension of your personality,
And it seems like they've really achieved that with the Juniper. Let's talk about something that always comes up with new tech, though. Price. This kind of innovation, it doesn't come cheap, does it?
You're right. The Juniper is definitely positioned as a premium vehicle. It's not going to be attainable for everyone, at least not right away.
Makes sense. But I did read something about Tesla looking into some more affordable options down the line. What do you think about that?
I think it's smart. Tesla's success, especially early on, it came from those early adopters, right? The people willing to pay a premium to be the first to have the newest thing. But for electric vehicles to really become mainstream, they've got to be accessible to, everyone.
Right. So potentially more affordable options coming sometime in the future. Good news for those of us who aren't, swimming in cash.
Exactly. And as technology improves, as production scales up, the prices will come down. It's just a matter of time.
And with this Juniper shaking things up, it feels like that time could be sooner than later.
I think so too. The car industry is at a crossroads right now, and the choices being made today, they're going to determine what personal transportation looks like for a long time.
So buckle up, everybody. This is going to be interesting. Okay, so we've talked about the tech, the driving experience, the price tag, but the article also mentioned something called the Juniper ripple effect. What exactly does that mean?
It's the idea that innovations like the Juniper don't just change the car itself. They create these ripples that impact the entire ecosystem, even beyond the automotive industry.
Okay, I like where this is going. Hit me with some examples. What kind of ripples are we talking about?
Well, for one, think about jobs. The shift to electric vehicles is going to create a massive demand for new skills. Battery manufacturing, software development, charging infrastructure.
That's the upside, right? New industries, new opportunities.
Exactly. But it also means that some traditional automotive jobs, particularly those tied to the internal combustion engine, are going to become obsolete.
Right. Progress and disruption, two sides of the same coin.
Exactly. And it highlights the importance of preparing for these shifts, of providing workers with the training and support they need to transition to these new opportunities.
Okay, so jobs are going to be impacted. What else?
Well, there's the impact on our energy grids. As more people plug in, we're going to need a huge increase in electricity generation and distribution.
And hopefully a lot of that new energy is coming from renewable sources.
Ideally, yes. But it underlines the need for a holistic approach to sustainability. We can't talk about electric vehicles without also talking about renewable energy, grid modernization, sustainable infrastructure. It's all connected.
It's like the Juniper is just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
Precisely. And that's what makes this so fascinating. It's not just a cool car. It's a catalyst for broader conversations about energy, infrastructure, sustainability, even urban planning. Imagine cities designed around EVs with less pollution, less noise.
Okay, now you're getting me excited about the future. But let's be real, not every ripple is going to be positive, right? What about the potential downsides of this EV revolution?
You're right, it's not all smooth sailing. There are valid concerns about the environmental impact of battery production and disposal, the sourcing of raw materials. These are challenges that need to be addressed.
It's like that saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. We're still figuring out the true cost of this transition.
And that's why it's crucial to have these discussions, to acknowledge the challenges, explore different perspectives, and work towards solutions that are truly sustainable in the long run.
It all comes back to that idea of informed decision-making, right? As consumers, as citizens, we have a responsibility to educate ourselves, to ask tough questions, and to hold both companies and policymakers accountable.
I completely agree. The future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we actively create through the choices we make.
Okay, folks, you heard it here. The Tesla Model Y Juniper isn't just a car. It's a glimpse into a future that's electric, connected, and filled with both incredible possibilities and complex challenges.
And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, if it's got you thinking about the future of transportation, the role of technology in our lives, well, then we've done our job.
Absolutely. Keep those wheels turning, folks, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.